Welcome to the Richard Stewart Show. My name is Richard Stewart. I'm a former national team player for the Canadian national team who won a silver medal for Canada in the 91 games in Sheffield, England. I also played at St. Joseph's University NCAA Division I in the Atlantic 10 Conference.
Stewart again down the lane, no foul, they let him have it. Richard has 19.
Currently, I own Advanced Basketball Canada, a program that teaches kids how to play basketball from the fundamentals to the more advanced. Two of the notable players that I've trained are Dillon who plays for the Memphis Grizzlies,
and Brooks will go and jam it with the right hand off the setup by Moran.
And Ignas Brazdeikiz,
Brazdeikiz to steal, some contact, and we play on. Brazdeikiz,
who plays for the New York Knicks. I also train ladies, and the ladies that are in university and have played in Europe as well. So I have a lot of ladies who have trained and are playing basketball.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Richard Stewart Show. My name is Richard Stewart. Thank you for tuning in. On today's show, I want to consider a couple of things. Jerry Stackhouse, Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson. How did these three players intersect? It's interesting, if you didn't know this, there's a lot of tidbits here that will blow your mind about these three guys. Number one, it has been reported that Jerry Stackhouse said he wished he didn't play with Michael Jordan, that he felt that, he put Michael Jordan on such a pedestal, but when Michael Jordan was playing with the Washington Wizards, that he just lost a little bit of his shine. All right, that's fair. That's fair. I'll explain why this is an issue that really has to take some delving into and some substantive investigation. Let me first say this. Jerry Stackhouse is a nice guy. If you're a Michael Jordan fan, you're saying to Jerry, be quiet and go jump in the lake, that's unfair. Jerry Stackhouse is a nice guy. He's a good coach. He coached the Raptors 905 to the G League championship. The guy knows what he's doing. Jerry Stackhouse is a North Carolina player. I don't know if he graduated from there. And he actually is a high flyer, finishes above the rim, can shoot the basketball, has good basketball IQ. Out of North Carolina, Jerry Stackhouse was drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's before Allen Iverson came there. Jerry was getting 16 shots at least per game. He was the man. All right? The ball was being thrown to him. He was doing what he needed to do. Jerry was playing very well. What happened with Jerry Stackhouse was that Allen Iverson came in. Once Allen was drafted to the Sixers, it was clear, even in preseason, that Allen was going to be the superstar and who the ball had to go through. So Jerry saw the writing on the wall. His minutes were going to be diminished. Because it was clear that Allen Iverson was a player of a different level. And the ball was going to go through him. Now, Allen in his own right had something to do with how Jerry ended up at Washington. Allen, remember, it was Northampton, Virginia. Allen was a true sports star. He was a great football player with speed, obviously he has speed, and toughness. And he was a great basketball player, Mr. Basketball in Virginia. Allen Iverson and his friends were in a bowling alley, bowling. And a bunch of dudes, a bunch of Caucasian kids came in and there was a fight. Bowling balls thrown, chairs thrown. And what did the police do? They went after Allen Iverson, right? Which happens a lot in America. If you guys hear the current news, what's happening with a jogger who was shot down, murdered, because he was jogging. You understand what happens in America sometimes. And so Allen was the one that was singled out, and they wanted to make an example of him, but he got off the court case. That's when John Thompson took Allen under his wing and brought him to Georgetown. Now, John Thompson is one of those coaches like John Chaney from Temple University who looks after kids. It looks like a lot of African Americans have had an opportunity to go to university and have great lives because of these two guys. A lot of the guys that they put on their team sometimes even play. They're on the end of the bench, but they're given full scholarships. They graduated from university and went on to great lives. John Thompson and John Chaney have done great things for the black community in America. A lot of these kids went on to great lives because of these two guys. And so John Thompson saved Allen because once that fight and that court case came up, ain't no other schools going to take Allen Iverson. But John Thompson took him on his wing, and that's why Allen loves him today. I would call him a dad. So Allen comes in with toughness, with a chip on his shoulder to Philly. After going through that process where he didn't do anything wrong, a attacked by some Caucasian kids, and he had to send for his life. And they want to throw him in jail. So he came into Philly with an edge on him, and he played hard, thrown to the floor in those days, stepped on in those days. And so Jerry Stackhouse did not want to be second fiddle to Allen. And then again, you can't blame Jerry for that. He's from a great program, North Carolina. He was a high-flying, highly touted basketball player. First one draft choice for Philadelphia. So yeah, you have pride, you have an ego, which all these guys do. They're high-level athletes. So he did not want to play second fiddle to Allen. Then one game, and I was in Philadelphia that time. In one game, Jerry's friends in the stands and Allen's friends in the stands, there was a brawl. They're brawling in the stands. Big fight. Because Allen's friends were saying, let's get the ball to Allen. And Jerry's friends were like, you shut up. And then they were fighting. So Jerry had to, who had to go? Jerry had to go. Jerry was dealt to Detroit. Right? So he didn't sit there, and then he was dealt to Washington. Now how's Michael Jordan coming to this? Michael Jordan and his super agent, David Falk. David Falk had some of the biggest players at that time in his portfolio, in his sports agency. So David Falk is a super sports agent, Michael Jordan's agent, and he was big time. I mean, the biggest, the baddest players of any sport, football, you name it, they all were on the Falk. Abe Pollin owned the Washington Wizards. Michael Jordan went to Abe Pollin with David Falk and their group to buy into the Washington Wizards. Abe Pollin did not like David Falk. The deal fell through and because Michael was supposed to be a part owner. The deal fell through, Michael's with the Wizards, and he decides to play for them for that year. Now, obviously, Michael was done. I watched the game and I felt like I was going to have tears because I saw Michael go up and could hardly dunk the ball. You know what I mean? He wasn't flying. I'm saying Michael could dunk the ball, but he wasn't flying. He wasn't, you know what I mean? He was 2 for 15 and stuff like that, and still demanding the ball. And the teammates were still giving him the ball. And Jerry Stackhouse was sitting there saying, "Yo, I'm in my 20s. I can throw ball. This guy's in his 30s. Come on, give." And I understand that, and that's why Jerry had a little bit of souring on Michael then. It's hard to be a legend. It's hard to be great and do that. I remember what happened with me. I was at St. Joe's. My coach was fired. Right, my coach was fired, and Jim Boyle was a great man. He gave me an opportunity to come from Canada, come from Toronto to play for St. Joseph's University, Stewart University, a great university, and I appreciate Jim Boyle for that. But he was fired because we were like 7 and 20 something, or 7 and 20. We did really bad, and they fired him. And John Griffin came in. John Griffin used to work on Wall Street, an alumni of St. Joseph's University. And why I'm saying that story is because I understood what Michael Jordan should have done, is what I had to do. When our new coach came in, John Griffin brought Rap Curry, a kid by the name of Rap Curry, a publicly star in Philadelphia, a flat-out star, could play basketball, brought him in as a recruit, and then they brought in the big man himself, Bernard Blunt. I mean, Bernard Blunt was flat out. He was like, he was called like a baby Jordan. This guy could play ball, could shoot it, could shoot the ball, could drive on people, strong as an ox. You couldn't stop him. And he came out of the Syracuse area. So Bernard Blunt was a bona fide Division I basketball player. And those two guys came in, and my spots and my touches and my stuff was taken up. But instead of me demanding and being a malcontent, I helped those guys. I helped those guys to know what was Virginia's tendencies, what's Villanova's tendencies, what's Temple's tendencies, what's St. Bonaventure going to do, what's Miami going to do. So I had to become that elder statesman. Michael Jordan went in there with the same type of fervor and leadership ability and stuff, but he wasn't that player anymore. And I understand what happened there. So it's not Jerry's fault to think that, he wish he wasn't playing with Michael Jordan, because that hindered his development. Right. So that's basically what happened between and that's how the three of them intersect each other. You have a guy like Jerry Stackhouse, Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson. That's what those 3 points intersect each other. And the rest of it is history. I mean, Michael Jordan retired, and Jerry went on to play a little bit and did his thing, and Allen is obviously Hall of Fame. But Allen has a lot to be thankful for. I mean, Pat Croce, who owned the Sixers at the time, and Pat Croce was a guy who owned a network, a little empire of physical therapy clinics. So he bought the Sixers years before, brought in Larry Brown. Larry Brown and Allen Iverson had butted heads for a while, but now Allen loves them to death. These strong men who helped us to become great basketball players. You know, just like Joe Edwards in the Chalk Farm gym that helped me to become a basketball player, love him to death. Just like Terry Thompson at Oakland, you know, who sometimes would pick me up from home and drive me back from practices, love him to death. There's guys who coached us and who helped us to fulfill our dreams to play on the big stage. We gotta love them. We gotta love them. And these guys were amazing coaches. But that's how that whole thing came into play. So when people hear Jerry Stackhouse say that, oh, you know, I wish you could play with Michael, and you know, Michael was this or that, he's coming from a perspective. You know, a guy like Allen Iverson is coming from a perspective. When you're wrongfully accused and thrown in jail or stepped on, and you come out with a chip on your shoulder against the world, because now you have to watch out for yourself. Or you feel like you become jaded. That happens to a lot of people in life as in basketball. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in this portion of the show, Coach Richards is going to talk about what's coming up next. We're going to have some great remote interviews coming up. The kids and their dads episodes will come up with great players in the past and their kids who are playing now. Soccer, basketball players as well. We're going to have some guys whose sons just declared for the NBA. We're going to have that. And a couple of my teammate and his wife who both played at St. Joe's and their daughter, which I had them on the show. Have some track and field people coming as well. We're trying to get some of the coaches from the local Philadelphia area and from Toronto on the show. And some of the old veterans of Toronto basketball. You know, men like Marvin Russell. We're trying to get him on the show. Coaches like Jerry Hemmings and the great Ken Shields at the University of Victoria, trying to get him on the show. Tommy Johnson, who went to Belgium and went to Europe and became a great coach, who was a national team point guard. We'll get him on our show. And so there's a few things coming up which will be exciting and new. We have a kids section we have of our show, so kids can talk about what they were doing during the COVID-19 lockdown. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me touch base on current events. If you guys remember, your American President Donald Trump was talking about household cleaners. Please, folks, do not use household cleaners. That's silly. Come on now. If you're like me, you should be ready anyway, because when I was a kid, right, my job, as my sister's, was to clean every Saturday. Everyone had a job. One vacuum, one wash dishes, one wipe the furniture down, and so on and so forth. My job, ladies and gentlemen, my job was to clean the furniture. And what did I use? I used Pledge. You got to know what Pledge is. If you're from the old school, you know what Pledge is. You spray that thing on the wood furniture and it sparkles. I'm Pledgified. That's why COVID-19 can't get into me. I sprayed so much Pledge on so much furniture over the years when I was growing up that there ain't nothing getting through these pores. So, hey, okay, I'm not telling you guys out there to spray Pledge on you. Stop. I'm not Donald Trump. I'll spray Pledge on you. My other job was the Windex for the windows. And I did so much window cleaning. I ended up to inhale so much Windex. So, you know, if you did those chores when you were young, you're old school, you remember that stuff. Don't worry about COVID-19 so much. Don't live in fear. All right? But hey, don't take cleaning products, people. What's wrong with you all out there? You know Donald Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. All right. The list of players that I'd like to talk about next are guys like Mark Macon out of Saginaw, Michigan. He played for Temple University. He was the first-round draft choice for the Detroit Pistons. I played against Mark for 4 years. We chased him through double screens. Why Saginaw, Michigan, in your mind? Why do you think you know something about that? Because Draymond Green is from Saginaw, Michigan. That's why you get that from, all right? In the back of the day, I got the name of Terry Cummings. Who did Terry Cummings play for? The Milwaukee Bucks. You guys are talking about Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, there's a guy named Terry Cummings who made Draymond Green look like a baby. Terry Cummings it was older, was giving my boy Charles Barkley a run for his money. I mean, give Charles Barkley fifth. Terry Cummings was a beast, right? And we've talked about before some of the guys that came out of Rhode Island University. I mean, a point guard and a two guard. They're interchangeable with Garrett and Owens, combo guards. I mean, these guys were amazing basketball players. You think about them, they're like Wall and Beal now, at Washington Wizards. So Garrett and Owens are like Wall and Beal. And these guys were amazing guys to play against that play against when Rhode Island was rolling. They were pretty good. Next on my list is, you guys know who James Worthy is, who used to play for the Lakers? Well, a guy by the name of Eddie Jones took his spot. Remember, Eddie Jones came to play for the Lakers, but Eddie Jones came out of Temple University. I played against Eddie Jones in the summer league. And that guy shot the ball from half court too. But just an amazing athlete. Evan McKee, 6th man of the year for the Sixers. Right? I'm telling you, all these guys out of Philly, man. Philly ball players, right? Kerry Kittles. Who did Kerry Kittles play for? The New Jersey Nets. Well, Kerry Kittles played for Villanova. I think against all these guys in the summer league. All right? You're talking about LaSalle Explorers. Great team with 4 NBA players. Lionel Simmons, Doug Overton, Randy Woods, Tim Legler. I had to guard all these guys. I mean, I was guarding guys like who were dropping numbers, NBA players, right, ready to go. On the St. Bonaventure, the great Rocky Llewellyn. And again, Rocky is a male model now with his sartorial splendor. I mean, hats, glasses, shoes, shirts. I mean, this guy's an amazing basketball player. And his brother, Cordell Llewellyn, Bobby, who's now his son, plays for Princeton. Yes, it's the same Llewellyn. So we're going to have all these guys on the show, hopefully. Some of the coaches that I had to go up against who match wits with my coach, John Calipari. You guys know he is Kentucky. Gail Catlin, who was the West Virginia coach. Speedy Morris, John Chaney, the great John Chaney, Temple University. Fran Dunphy, University of Pennsylvania. Paul Westhead, Lakers coach. These guys are, I mean, if you think about these guys, run and gun, played coach against Laurel Marymount, when Laurel Marymount scored like college teams, scoring 120 points a game, 130 points a game, university team, running across the country. And yes, the sad story about Bo Kimball hit the shot over me from half court for them to win the game. Up to this day, I can't stand that guy. All right, but hey, that's how it is, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the program today. You know what we say in the Richard Stewart program. Little things turn into big things. I want to thank my man Kyle Andre for his great work in our booth and his editing skills. Until next time, God bless you.